Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4.
It's Friday, and it feels like spring outside. I know that was a little quiet.
Well, Michael Bruno's off today.
That makes a difference.
So, he has no Michael around to yell at us. So.
That's right.
You're right. It feels like spring today.
20 degrees above normal, and sunny. Crazy.
Yeah, and if you're a fan of snow, well, say goodbye to that. We'll get to the weather in a second, but first, right now at 4, the lawyer of a man accused of driving drunk and killing a Lake Mills firefighter says his client was under the legal drinking limit.
There are several fundraisers taking place soon to help the family of that firefighter, and we're sharing ways that you can help coming up today at 4.
And a newly elected congresswoman is standing by her comments after she uses profanity to describe the president.
Let's head outside today. Plenty of sunshine. Let's see if Dana is even wearing her jacket. You brought your light coat today.
No, I'm just wearing my suit coat. I'm not wearing anything.
Boy, that ice is, if there's ice, it's very thin.
Yeah.
Be very careful.
Unseasonable Saturday, the weather words, and Dana is in the backyard with a light jacket on.
I did have to grab the jacket. I was just being a baby, though. You gotta admit, it's too nice outside. Earlier, I didn't need the jacket when I was out running errands. Things were okay, of course, just in a long sleeve shirt. But right now, I'd rather stay just a little bundled up. Looking at our downtown skyline, a really beautiful scene for us currently. Sunset is still a few minutes away, not until 4:36. Today, we hit a high of 46 degrees, a big jump from where our average temps are in the mid-20s. So yes, it did feel almost like the beginning of spring for us rather than early January. Our Doppler track's calm, no snow threat for us tonight. In fact, we're going to stay nice and clear for the next several hours. We may see some fog just start off tomorrow morning, but that's about it. We're currently sitting at 44 in Madison and 45 in Janesville. It really is going to be a pleasant evening for your Friday. If you do have any plans tonight, our breeze is coming from the west in the single digits, so we don't have to factor in too much of a wind chill. Overnight, our temperatures, of course, are going to fall. And then by the time we get towards 10 o'clock, we're already in the low 30s. Again, still above our afternoon highs, our average highs, just because it was so warm outside today. Looking at the roadways right now, this is the Beltline right at University Drive. We're seeing mostly green along the Beltline right now. A little red starting to pop up near John Olin Drive, but overall 39 southbound looks completely clear north of Cottage Grove and down towards Stoughton. And then looking over towards Mount Horeb, 151 southbound, speeds look just fine. Around the Janesville area, all is good. Same goes with Fort Atkinson. A little slow down there downtown, but no accidents to report. And if we bounce up north, things look okay as well as far as speeds on the roadways. Drive times from Janesville to the Beltline, 26 minutes, a little slower from downtown to Sun Prairie, then from Middleton to Sauk City at 17 minutes right now. So you should have a smooth evening ahead. Quiet weather, overall quiet roads right now. Should be a really nice Friday, and we are getting ready for a very nice Saturday.
And that fog, that's a real snow eater.
Yes, it is. So that's going to help chip away at the little bit that we do still have left.
That and 45 degrees.
Well, there's plenty of winter left.
Yes, there is.
Plenty to come.
It ain't over, folks.
Exactly.
All right, Dana, I'll check back in a few minutes.
Thank you, Dana. First at 4, a twist in the death of a Lake Mills fire captain.
The lawyer of the man authorities believe is responsible for the death says his client was under the legal drinking limit. Keely Arthur joins us more now to explain. Keely?
That's right. 28-year-old Samuel Kramers is facing a tentative charge of homicide by drunk driving. But his lawyer says his client blew below the legal limit of .08 during an on-scene breathalyzer test. Kramers is accused of killing fire captain Christopher Truman. Truman had stopped on the side of the Beltline Monday night to help another driver. Kramers then hit Truman after Truman exited the vehicle. He blew a .079 at the scene. Now, Kramers' lawyer Sean O'Connell couldn't go on camera today, but says he believes this was likely a, quote, bad roads accident. Former Dane County Assistant District Attorney Tim Veerhoff says the weather was likely a factor in this case, and he believes it's a tough one for prosecutors to navigate.
In a case where the weather conditions are terrible, it rained all morning and then turned to snow, and someone's coming down the Beltline and there's a crash, I mean, it's certainly a tragedy. And the question is going to be whether or not this is criminal or not.
Kramers was arrested by Monona police Monday on a charge of homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle. However, the Dane County District Attorney's Office has yet to formally charge him. Kramers appeared in court yesterday where he was released on signature bond. He submitted to a blood test the night of the incident. That's at the state crime lab right now, and the results could be a major factor in this case.
We will continue to follow it. Keely Arthur in the studio. Keely, thank you.
And 2 businesses in Lake Mills are holding fundraisers for Captain Truman. The Lake Mills Market has started a donation drive. The store started the fund with an initial donation of $500. And the Lake Mills Culvers will also hold a fundraiser on Tuesday. It'll run from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. 10% of sales of that day will go to the Lake Mills Fire Department.
A man accused of killing another driver in a fiery Madison crash last summer enters a no contest plea in court. Eric Franke is in the news center with more on today's developments in this case. Eric?
Susan, 22-year-old Gavin VM pleaded no contest today in court to a charge of homicide by intoxicated use of a motor vehicle. This incident happened last June 23rd at Blair Street at John Nolan Drive in Madison. Court documents say VM hit a vehicle driven by 45-year-old Deanna McCullough while VM was high on LSD. A crash reconstructionist indicated VM was going 60 miles per hour in a 25-mile-per-hour zone. He now faces 25 years in prison at sentencing, and prosecutors also argued successfully that he remain in jail after violating the conditions of his bail.
I think here he's facing 25 years in prison. He's convicted of a homicide. He's killed someone. He's found guilty of that. I believe bail revocation is absolutely appropriate.
As a result of VM's no contest plea, 2 other charges against him were dropped. Now, the man killed in that crash, Deanna McCullough, was a veteran Madison Metro bus driver who had driven for Metro for 10 years. He was stopped at that red light at Blair and John Nolan, stopped there when VM rear-ended him at that high rate of speed. Susan?
Eric Franke in the news center. Eric, thanks.
You're welcome.
It is day 14 of the partial government shutdown, and the big issue remains funding for a border wall. For the second time this week, congressional leaders left the White House without a deal to reopen parts of the federal government. Democrats called it a, quote, sometimes contentious conversation.
We told the president we needed the government open. He resisted. In fact, he said he'd keep the government closed for a very long period of time, months or even years.
The shutdown could go on for months or even a year or longer. Did you say that? And
I
is
did.
that your
I did.
Is that your assessment of where we are?
Absolutely, I said that. I don't think it will, but I am prepared.
House Democrats passed 2 bills last night to reopen the government, measures that were also passed by the GOP-controlled Senate in the previous Congress. Leader Mitch McConnell has said the Senate would not consider those bills because they do not fulfill the president's border funding request.
A newly elected Michigan congresswoman has stirred up Capitol Hill with her call to impeach the president. Just hours after being sworn in, Democrat Rashida Tlaib was recorded at an event.
We're going to go in there, we're going to impeach them.
Tlaib avoided reporters today, but didn't back down from her comments, tweeting that she'll always speak truth to power. While some members of her party agree about impeaching the president, others were quick to condemn Tlaib's language.
You cannot accomplish very much of anything unless you have civility and show respect for your colleagues. And I think those kind of comments do not take us in the right direction.
We watched a new freshman stand up, use this language, get cheered by their base, and we watched a brand new speaker say nothing to her.
President Trump jumped in on Twitter saying, how do you impeach a president who has won perhaps the greatest election of all time, calling himself the most popular Republican in party history. Governor Scott Walker is looking back on his past 8 years in office.
He says he will not rule out a run for governor in the future or a run for U.S. Senate. Amanda Quintana joins us now with more on what he had to say today. Amanda?
Yes, well, for the first time in more than 25 years, come Tuesday, Scott Walker will not be in public office, but he is ready to move on, and he says he's excited for the future. Looking back on his time as governor, he says Act 10 was one of his biggest accomplishments, and the fact that the state is at the lowest unemployment rate in its history as he leaves. Although he was on the short list for a position in the Trump administration, Walker will stay in Wisconsin, living in Milwaukee, speaking on issues that are important to him.
I think there's a gap where we could do more to talk about the benefits of limited government and a lower tax burden, and explain it in a way that I think, particularly amongst younger voters.
He says there are not a lot of voices that speak about this, especially to millennials. Instead, a lot of the president's attention is being put on things like border security and the military, issues he agrees are also important. We will hear more from Walker's interview at 5 o'clock, including why he says he might think about running for governor again 4 years from now.
We'll see you at 5. Thanks, Amanda.
Thanks.
A family-owned deli chain in the Madison area is closing. All 3 of the Jacobson's Meats and Deli locations are closing at the end of the month. The stores are in Madison, Stoughton, and Sun Prairie. The business was originally established in 1932 and at one time had 9 locations. The company's owner, Mark Jacobson, says competition from big stores like Walmart and Hy-Vee have taken a cut from his business. Jacobson is thanking all of his customers for years of support.
Tonight's Prep Mania game of the week is at Madison East. The Purgolders are ranked #1 in the state in Division I. They'll get a huge test from Madison La Follette, which is only a game behind East in the Big 8. You can watch it live tonight. It begins at 7:15 on channel3000.com. When we come back, new research shows more than 1 in 10 U.S. adults has a food allergy.
Why developing a food allergy as an adult is more common than you may think. That's next at 4.
New estimates show how many adults in the United States are affected by food allergies.
Yeah, the new research shows it is more common than previously thought to develop allergies as an adult. More than 40,000 adults were surveyed, and 1 in 10 have a food allergy. Nearly half developed at least one allergy as an adult. But researchers also found many adults believe they're allergic to foods when they're likely suffering from food intolerance or a health condition.
Patients need to get a proper diagnosis so that if they are at risk of severe reactions, they're prepared to deal with them. It's also important because it can be misdiagnosed, or people can think they're allergic to the wrong things and avoid foods unnecessarily.
The study also found half of patients with adult onset allergies had very serious reactions that sent them to the ER. United Airlines is changing its policies on emotional support animals on its flights. Starting Monday, support animals will not be allowed on flights longer than 8 hours. And United says it's seen more onboard animal-related incidents. The airlines also will not allow kittens or puppies less than 4 months old as support animals. In-cabin pets or service animals, saying that animals that young typically do not have all the necessary vaccinations. United joins Delta and Spirit in changing policies on emotional support animals. Delta and Spirit now require at least 48 hours notice to bring service animals on flights, as well as extra documentation.
Nearly half of all car accidents take place at night, and experts at AAA believe cloudy headlights are part of the problem. A new AAA study found cloudy or yellow headlights generate 20% of the light that new headlights do, and damage can start in just 3 to 5 years. The most effective solution is to replace old headlights with new ones, but that can be expensive and cost hundreds of dollars. Another option is a do-it-yourself kit, which can restore the original lights to about 70%.
Toothpaste works well, too.
That's good to know.
Yeah, more jobs were created in U.S. in December than expected, and that sent stocks soaring. The Dow Industrials added almost 747 points, ending the first trading week of the year at 23,433. The NASDAQ up 275. The S&P 500 gained 84. Well, about 1 in 5 7th and 8th graders here in Dane County admit they're stressed about fitting in or about what others think of them.
As parents, we just want our kids to be comfortable and confident in who they are, don't we? Our Danica Lewis introduces us to a teacher making sure that all of her students know their worth.
The more you focus on the positive, good job. That's what you bring to your life, not the negative. If you're positive, then that's what you reap. You reap positivity.
Remember to step in, okay? Good job. Now let's practice the steps. Would you like to dance?
When Maria Carvello set out to be an educator,
step in.
She didn't know it would involve teaching middle schoolers
catch it
about chest passes,
there,
and jump shots.
Good job.
She didn't think there'd be after-school drills on dribbling.
Keep going, Ev. Eyes out.
You see that it really made a difference. So that is very rewarding.
Keep going, faster. How fast can you go?
And she didn't realize it would include reaching back in her past to prepare preteens for their futures.
It was difficult when you have people that really don't accept you for who you are.
30 years ago, Mrs. Carvello left her home in warm, sunny Brazil.
It was hard being 18 years old.
To go to Marquette, Michigan, up in the UP.
There weren't many foreigners up there.
Snow wasn't the only thing she had to acclimate to.
You really become very aware of your own culture. You really have to be able to work on yourself first.
With the help of some new friends, she pushed through language barriers and cultural differences, adopting some American customs while staying true to her South American roots.
It just really kind of, I just brushed off. And then I was able to start finding people that really cared. I was, somehow they started appearing.
Just to get the practice of the move.
She wanted to specialize in helping kids talk.
Let's go do the pass.
I actually needed speech therapy myself as a kid. Imagine that, I like to talk.
Do you want him to help you?
But then a job opened up at Savannah Oaks Middle School in Verona in special education.
Ready? Okay, be ready to go.
Which brought her to this gym.
Get your arms ready.
Here I am 17 years later, and I really love it because I feel you can really impact their lives. You can really plant that seed.
You showed up with muscles instead of feathers, right? We don't have feathers anymore, do we?
No, we don't.
We had feathers in 6th grade.
I don't know if it's harder, actually. They just embrace who they are, and they are comfortable with who they are.
Okay, let me see what you can do over here.
We don't focus on what they can't do. That's the language I use with them. You're capable of doing anything you want.
An avid Special Olympics coach, Mrs. Carvello knows it's not always that easy for any student of any ability.
Unfortunately, you see that a lot of kids are really dealing with a lot of adult issues that they really shouldn't have to be dealing with. Show their greatness by being one of them.
Mrs. Carvalho makes it her mission to make sure her kids know who they are.
And, or pick one that you struggle with.
And that they're confident in that person.
Being enthusiastic or being patient.
It's been a long week. Fridays are hard. But we miss having you being part of our team.
You need to be comfortable in your own skin. You really need to love yourself.
Yeah. I love that you came this year with a smile, honey. I'm very proud of you.
She didn't know who she'd be, but Mrs. Carvalho is humble, honest, attentive, thankful.
And what a gift it is that we can be ourselves, and that we're all unique in our own ways.
Come on. Ooh, look at the moves. Oh, look at.
She didn't know who she'd be, but she's optimistic she can help her students find out who they are.
Relax. You can do this.
For themselves.
Okay?
To find who they are, to trust who they are, and and to discover their greatness.
Way to go. Why don't you go get some water?
With a reminder to be you.
Nice job.
This is Danica Lewis, WISC News 3.
Our big push right now is all about being yourself, even when there are so many expectations for our kids to live up to. We'd like to see what makes you, you as well. So head over to our Time for Kids page through a partnership with SSM Health and learn more about the Be You effort and how you can get involved.
It is so important to be you.
And Maria, thanks to you for all you do. Yep. Very inspiring. When we come back, the Golden Globes kick off the award show season.
We have all you need to know about this year's ceremony coming up a little later on Live at 4. Well, take a look at this. Some New Yorkers had to do a double take as a tech fan tested out a flying surfboard on New York's East River. Richard Burton, no, not that Richard Burton, rode the e-foil, which works using a motor and hydrofoil technology that allows riders to fly above the water at speeds of 25 miles an hour. Burton tweeted, "New toy for a new year in New York."
Very cool.
Very cool is right.
When are we going to get that in Madison?
Yeah, that'd be good to see on Lake Mendota.
Yeah.
Today is Friday, January 4th. It is World Braille Day. Today is the birth date of Louis Braille, the Frenchman who invented the code in 1821. Braille helps the visually impaired worldwide.
It is also National Spaghetti Day. So to celebrate, you can make some spaghetti and meatballs. Gotta have meatballs for dinner, or you can head to your favorite Italian ristorante. Americans typically eat the long, thin pasta with tomato and meat sauce.
I love spaghetti.
Yes.
And it's National Trivia Day today to celebrate trivia, the development of human curiosity, science, and fun. You any good at trivia?
We're going to find out.
You know, we should have Dave out here. Dave Coffey.
Dave is so good at trivia.
He's very good.
Oh, my gosh.
Which is the only American state to be given the letter P?
Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Well done.
All right.
Name the world's biggest island.
Australia?
Greenland.
Greenland. Dang it.
One more.
Okay.
Got another one?
Well, I did, but you asked Dennis, and I can't.
We did go through a few earlier.
The world's largest ocean?
Largest ocean, the Pacific.
Yep. These are all
And the largest lake,
freshwater lake.
Freshwater Lake.
Lake Superior.
Lake
I
Superior.
lost the other ones.
We got that earlier, but I wanted to make sure you knew also.
And January 4th is also my mom's birthday.
Oh, it is?
I have to wish my
Yay.
mom a happy birthday because she watches most days.
Yeah, they do watch.
Yeah.
They watch
So
online.
happy birthday,
Happy
Mom.
birthday. And too bad she's not here enjoying the weather.
Oh my gosh, yes, the sunshine today, temperatures 20 degrees above average for our afternoon highs. And then as we look ahead to the weekend, it's really going to stay nice for us. We'll take a look at that full forecast right after the break. We're still bouncing around trivia questions here. Gotta admit that it's National Trivia Day and things are Of course, we're learning. I like trivia. It's a good opportunity to learn. As far as your forecast goes, plan on a very pleasant Saturday. We're going to see sunshine and temperatures above average yet again. Sunday, it is going to become mostly cloudy, but still pretty decent outside for your Sunday afternoon. And then our next system is going to come in late Sunday and bring quite a bit of rainfall for us into Monday. May mix with a little snow early and before wrapping up, but right now it looks like most of it is going to be rain. Our Doppler track is fairly calm. That means no snow threat for us this evening. Not seeing any cloud coverage either. Our only thing really looking ahead to tomorrow morning is the potential to see some fog develop early in the morning, but all of that will clear out, and we're looking at sunshine later on in the day. Overall, fairly mild throughout much of the plains and Midwest. We have showers into southern Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, and Tennessee. That system is pulling east. It won't be impacting our forecast at all as we get through the weekend. Again, we do have our next system coming in late Sunday, but it won't be that one. It'll be swinging in from the west. In the last 24 hours, we've warmed up even more. Yesterday, it was about a 10-degree jump. Today, about an 8-degree jump from yesterday. For Madison, 5-degree jump in Monroe. Throughout the Midwest, our warmer air is really settling on in. The colder air is now well off to the west, so don't expect that colder air to really shift in until Sunday. We may see a drop in our temps on Sunday, but we're still well above average, actually, through the weekend. Today, we hit a high of 46 in Madison, 51 in Peru, and 49 in Milwaukee. Overall, a very warm day for us outside, mild day. I know they were making fun of me because I had my coat on earlier. You may not really need it heading into tomorrow afternoon. 24 hours ago, this was our snow depth. In the last 24 hours, because our temperatures have been so warm, you can watch as our snow depth just recedes. There actually is a pretty big pocket there outside of Eau Claire and just north of Marshfield where there's no snow on the ground currently. In Madison, we still have some light snowfall on the ground for us. And if you go well to the north, they still have a few inches, but a different picture compared to what we saw 24 hours ago, or even if you go back 48 hours ago, our snowfall line, our snow depth is just receding for us right now with this warmer air in place. And it's going to keep creeping back up throughout tomorrow, actually, and Sunday, as afternoon highs will be above average. And of course, tomorrow with the sunshine and that fog in the morning, just not good ingredients to help our snowfall stay around. Throughout the day on Saturday, it will be mostly sunny. The fog really is only a concern for us early in the morning. Later in the afternoon, we are going to be in the mid to upper 40s for afternoon highs. It really is going to be pleasant outside. Sunday, we become mostly cloudy, but temperatures are still, again, going to be close to 40 for us for our afternoon highs. Upper 30s, close to 40, so just a few degrees cooler than Saturday, but still well above average when we should be in the mid-20s. All of that rain comes through late Sunday. The freezing line between snow and rain looks like it's going to be just north of Madison for us early Monday morning, and then throughout the day on Monday, we have rain throughout central and southern Wisconsin. Those showers starting to wrap up late in the day on Monday. The cloud coverage, though, is staying with us into early Tuesday morning. Looking at our big picture for January, it does seem like Madison and Wisconsin as a whole falls in that category of likely going to stay above average with our temperatures by the end of the month. We certainly started the month off above average, and we may likely continue it. That's the trend that we're picking up right now. 28 is for our overnight low, partly cloudy and mild with some patchy fog early tomorrow morning, though we're not expecting much of it. That fog will clear on out, will become sunny and very mild tomorrow with highs in the mid to upper 40s for our Saturday. A little cooler on Sunday, but looking ahead through the rest of the work week, our first full work week of 2019, temperatures stay well above average. And we are expecting a little bit of sunshine to return for us for the middle of the week, and then another system to come up by the end of the week for us. But man, Saturday does look fantastic. Hope you're able to get outside and enjoy the weather to the nth degree, so 44 degree.
Not a record breaker today, but close.
Very close, but not quite there. We couldn't quite cross into that low 50 mark. And that's what we would need to do to break the record for us, but it was certainly mild outside, comfortable.
Yeah. This week last year, it was 10 below zero at night.
It was cold at night.
It was
we were
terrible.
talking, yes, and even our afternoon highs were in the single digits.
And it snowed every day.
A few days we were at like 10 or 12, which is close enough to the single digits when you factor in a wind chill. So a very different start to 2019 as compared to 2018.
Oh, yeah.
This is a little more comfortable.
It absolutely is.
And there'll be snow coming. Don't despair.
We're just having an early January thaw, but we have a lot of time.
Yes, we do. All right, Dana, thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Well, Chris Reese will have the up-to-date weather on the cold or the mild temperatures Saturday and Sunday mornings here on News 3.
And then stay tuned for CBS Sunday Morning. Earlier, I talked with CBS correspondent Lee Cohen about who's filling in for Jay Pauley. this week to find out what's on this weekend's broadcast.
Hey, Mark. Well, we're going to head off to London and talk with actor Michael Caine. He's had a long and varied career. He's written a lot of books about it. And yes, he has indeed written yet another book about it. At 85, apparently he has a lot to talk about. But in this one, he talks a little bit about what got him noticed in the first place. And part of that was his ability to do just about any English accent you could imagine. Take a listen.
My favorite accent to do? Oh, blimey, I've done so many. In Northern English, he's talking like that. You know, and that's from up north. Cockney is very serious like that. Everything is spelled F-I-N-K. You know, so everything's gone wrong, you know what I mean. And an American accent, I do that too, you know. This is the way you sound to a foreigner.
So apparently, Mark, we sound a little bit boring to the rest of the world. His real name, by the way, is Maurice Micklewhite. Tune in Sunday to find out how he arrived at that decision, and it has something to do with Humphrey Bogart. We'll tell you why.
I love Michael Caine. Looking forward to that. And you have a piece as well this week. What are you covering?
We do. This is also in the UK. We're going to talk with a runner, a long-distance runner, an ultramarathoner, in fact, which is impressive in and of itself. But Simon Wheatcroft is also legally blind. You know, he's not the first blind runner to attempt these kind of races, but he's the first to figure out a way to use GPS technology to make it so that he can run these runs completely by himself, no guide runner at all. That, he says, will not only help him in these races, but it'll also be able to help the millions of people around the world in their everyday lives who are blind. He's an incredibly inspirational guy. To see him running in traffic, dealing with curbs, traffic signals, everything else, knowing that he can't see a single thing, it's pretty impressive. It's definitely worth tuning in.
Yeah, quite remarkable. We can't wait to see it. Lee Cowan, thank you for joining us this afternoon. We'll see you Sunday morning at 8 o'clock.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mark.
Boy, that story seems incredible about the ultramarathoner.
I love Sunday morning. It's a great show.
Yes, 8 o'clock right here on WISC-TV. When we come back, the first award show of the season is almost here.
After the break, we're going over who's hosting and what's nominated in some of the top categories. That's when Live at 4 continues.
The sun is setting on this Friday afternoon in downtown Madison. It's been a beautiful day and a nice weekend is ahead as well. The Golden Globe Awards are Sunday, and with both film and television stars on hand, many consider it Hollywood's biggest night.
David Daniel looks at the top contenders on the movie side.
A Star is Born is looking to start paving its path to Oscar Gold with a Golden Globes win for Best Film Drama. The experts at GoldDerby.com consider it the overwhelming favorite, with Lady Gaga an equally strong contender for Best Actress in a Drama and Bradley Cooper in the running for Best Actor in a Drama. He also has a shot at Best Director, but the favorite there is Alfonso Cuarón for Roma.
Got to make an impression, darling.
Cooper's main rival for Best Actor, Rami Malek from Bohemian Rhapsody. Yes, both men play musicians, and they're up for Best Actor in a Drama.
I am not a medical doctor. I'm a musician.
Mahershala Ali is expected to win Best Supporting Actor for Green Book. That movie is in the musical or comedy category, where it's a very slight favorite for Best Film over The Favorite. That movie's star, Olivia Colman, appears to have the edge for Best Actress in the category over Emily Blunt for Mary Poppins Returns.
The vice presidency is mostly a symbolic job.
The leading candidate for Best Actor in a Comedy or Musical is Christian Bale for Vice. His main competition, Viggo Mortensen from Green Book.
We are drinking to new life.
Finally, Regina King leads the Best Supporting Actress contenders for her role in If Beale Street Could Talk. We'll learn all the film and TV winners Sunday evening at the 76th Golden Globe Awards. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
And on the television side of things, the assassination of Gianni Versace, American Crime Story, leads with a total of 4 Golden Globe nods.
The award show begins at 7 Sunday night. Sandra Oh and Andy Samberg are hosting this year.
Always a fun show.
Yeah, it
Everybody's
is.
drinking in the audience, gets a little loose.
I know, it's fun. Well, when we come back, many people use the start of the new year to make changes in their lives with various degrees of success.
Is there a way to find greater purpose in 2019? Up next, we'll talk with UW health psychiatrist Shyla Murgain, and she joins us to find ways of happiness in the new year. Stay with us.
Welcome to
It is mild outside, and the roads are also fairly calm. The Beltline, of course, slowing down just a little bit, but as we look at 151 near Mount Horeb, also along 39 southbound, it all seems to be going along green just fine. The eastbound side of the Beltline is the only place we're seeing those delays. A bit of a slowdown there near Fish Hatchery Road, and then things seem to clear on up once you get a little closer to 39. Near the Janesville area, a lot of green right now. Same goes near Fort Atkinson, and then also taking a look up north near Baraboo, and also just near the arena area. Prairie du Sac, a lot of green there as well. I do not have any accidents to report, which is always good news. Drive times look just fine, just spiffy. Northbound downtown to Sun Prairie will take you about 19 minutes, 26 minutes for Janesville to the Beltline. That's a quick look at your first alert traffic.
All right, Dana, thank you. Many people find themselves in the new year unhappy with their lives and wanting to make a change.
Finding a greater sense of purpose may be the most direct pathway to happiness and well-being. UW Health distinguished psychologist Shyla Murgain is back with us. Hi, Shyla. Happy New Year.
Happy 2019.
Great to see you. I know it is amazing. So finding your purpose, it's good for your health and your happiness, and the research backs that up, right?
It does. The research has doubled since 2008, as well as Google searches for finding one's purpose. So people are really interested in, like, how do I find my purpose in my life? And research shows that not only are we happier when we have a sense of purpose, but we're also healthier. Our heart is protected. We're less, if you have heart disease, less likely to have a heart attack. Diabetes is better controlled. There's better sleep, less pain. So we really find that having a sense of purpose really cultivates a sense of well-being.
What does that mean, a sense of purpose?
Yeah, is it the same thing as a resolution, or is it different?
It's different. I often like to think about it as knowing your why. So if people are wondering, what is my purpose this year? You know, you can start small, but some questions to ask are things like, what do I love? Or as a child, what did I naturally gravitate towards? Or what am I really good at? What comes naturally to me? And when I offer that to people, what does it allow for them? What gift does it give them? How has their life changed? And sometimes people say, Shyla, I still don't know. So then I say, go interview people. Ask people in your life, why am I important to you? What difference did I make? Or if you're going to celebrate me at my 90th birthday, how are you going to remember me? So knowing your why really helps cultivate purpose. And then we have to take action, right? It's not enough just to know our purpose. You know, it's the small daily action steps that really make a difference.
Now, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I lost my purpose.
So interested.
This can help others around you too, your children, people that you work with.
Yeah, Mark, there was some fascinating research with kids who were struggling in school, and half of the group, they were asked to reflect on purpose. So the problems of the world and how learning the material might help them actually make a difference to solve some of those problems. And they found that at the end of the semester, those kids were more motivated and actually did better. And surprisingly, the kids who had the lowest GPA actually got the most benefit. They actually did even better. So we find that not only improves academics, but we also find kids are happier. There was a classic study, a group of kids got $100, half the group spent it on themselves, the other half spent it on others. And a year later, the kids that had spent the money on others were significantly happier. So share it with your kids.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Find a purpose for 2019.
Yeah.
Shyla?
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Happy New Year.
Great to be here.
We'll be right back with the final check of your forecast. Got to resist wearing shorts tomorrow.
Yeah, I know, but I did have the window down on my way into work. Probably didn't help my voice much, but it was so nice outside today.
It is beautiful.
Beautiful. In the mid-40s for afternoon highs. Over the next few hours, we are going to stay in the 30s with a mostly clear sky. As you get out the door tomorrow morning, notice we'll still have a little snow lingering around the area. Not quite sure how much it's going to last through the weekend, though. We will be in the mid-40s for afternoon highs. Again, for Saturday, plan on a very sunny sky, very mild outside. It is going to be a very pleasant day for us throughout southern Wisconsin. I don't think we have any complaints. Some areas, again, along the Wisconsin-Illinois border, may be closer to the upper 40s, even 50 degrees for us. Wow. Yes.
All right, enjoy. Thank you, Dana. We'll be right back with a special Lola's Lowdown.
Well, Lola and Louie start the new year with a big announcement. But first, they have a fresh batch of it. The best animal stories to start off 2019.
Without further ado, here's this week's edition of Lola's Lowdown. This week on the Lowdown, a magical swim with a dolphin.
An unhappy royal kitty.
And a runaway cow has a big surprise.
But first, animals gathered in herds, flocks, and tribes to be counted as part of the London Zoo's annual census. Armed with clipboards, calculators, even an abacus, London zookeepers have the task of recording every resident mammal, bird, fish, invertebrate, reptile, and amphibian in the zoo. It's quite a task. The zoo is home to more than 19,000 animals and 600 different species. They call it the stock take, and it's required under the license terms of the zoo. Plus, it's a lot of fun.
A cow that escaped from a slaughterhouse-bound truck is making headlines again. This time for a tiny New Year's surprise no one saw coming. On December 27, New Jersey traffic was halted after Brianna escaped from a truck. Instead of going to the slaughterhouse, she was taken to an animal sanctuary instead. That's where the stakes were raised even higher. Brianna ended up giving birth at the sanctuary just days after arriving. Nobody even knew she was pregnant when she escaped. Now, thanks to some bovine intervention, Brianna and her new baby, Winter, are safe and sound.
World champion skimboarder and wake surfer Austin Keene is gliding through the water like a dolphin when suddenly he's joined by one. Dolphins also like wakeboards. This one pops out of the water next to Austin and enjoys swimming belly up